So number 4 is a word problem where we're using exponential growth and we want to come up with a function for it. So our situation is we have a culture of bacteria that starts with 8,000. No one sees that. With 8,000 bacteria. After 1 hour, there were 10,000 bacteria. So the first thing we want to do is find a function that models the bacteria after any t hours. The equation we want to plug into is given here. So remember, we've talked about this. P sub 0 is the initial amount. R is the rate of growth. T is time. P of t is how much I have in a given amount t. So let's see what we're told in the equation now. So if I start with 8,000 bacteria, start sounds like it might be my initial amount. And my initial amount is P of 0. The other thing I'm told is that after 1 hour, there were 10,000 bacteria. So that tells me when T is equal to 1, the amount of bacteria I have is 10,000. How do I put that together? Well, I plug in. So I have my equation, P of t equals P sub 0 e to the RT. But I'm going to start to kind of replace things. I'm going to replace P sub 0 with this 8,000 here. So that 8,000 goes into my P sub 0 spot. I'm also going to use this information. I'm going to plug in 1 for T and 10,000 for P of T. So the only values left are E, which makes sense because that's a constant, right? E is 2.718, blah, 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 blah. And R, which I don't know. So my goal here is going to be to find R. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to get that R out of the exponent. So what do? We need to get that E term by itself. So I'm going to divide everything by 8,000. So I'm left with 10,000 divided by 8,000, which is really just 10 over 8 is equal to E to the R, because what I've done here now is R times 1 is just R, right? Okay. Next step, I want to get R by itself. So what do? We take the natural log. Natural log of 10 over 8 is equal to natural log of E to the R. And remember, these guys kind of cancel each other out. So that you're just left with the R. And then I have natural log of 10 over 8. This has been bothering me. I'm going to simplify this to 5 over 4 is equal to R. And we don't use calculators in here, so that guy is my answer. So if I want to find a function, here's the initial function. I'm going to plug in that R value. I'm going to leave P sub 0 to be 8,000. And then I'm going to plug in natural log of 5/4 for R times T. So T and P sub of T are left alone. I don't plug in these values for them because I want to be able to plug in anything for T and get out any answer. The only reason I plugged it in here was to find R. Otherwise, in the equation, I leave it alone. Okay, so we're going to use that equation in part B. Find the number of bacteria after 2 hours. So what happens when T equals 2? So I'm going to plug in 2 for T, given in that equation that I just found. Okay. We don't use calculators in here, but I promise you, you can do this. So, I know this looks challenging, but I swear you can do it. 8,000 e to the natural log of 5/4 times 2. Okay, So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to manipulate this a bit. That 8,000, I'm going to leave alone. The e, that 2 I'm actually going to put in the exponent in front of the natural log, and I'll show you why in a second. Oh my goodness, let me zoom in so you guys can see my chicken scratch a little better. Okay, so remember that rule we used in solving log functions where if I have a number in front of the exponent, in a number in front of a log, I can bring it and rewrite it as an exponent? I'm going to do that here. So it becomes e to the power of natural log of 5/4 squared, which is really e to the power of natural log 5/4 squared. So I square the numerator and I square the denominator. So natural log of 25/16. Okay, let's keep going. So next step, this e and the natural log, they're going to cancel each other out. Why? Well, remember when we've done in the past, a to the power of log a x is just equal to x. Remember, these are inverses, an exponent and a log function. So the base a here and the base a of the log, they're going to cancel each other out. The base of natural log is e. So the e here, the natural log cancel each other out, and you're just left with 25/16. So this answer, you're not even going to believe it, simplifies to 25/16. Ooh. And then that becomes, see, we can do this without a calculator, a little bit of algebra. 16 and 8,000, I'm just going to try to simplify this. So 16, let's see, they're both divisible by 8, right? So 16, 8 goes into 16 twice, 8 goes into 8,000 1,000 times, and then 2 and 1,000 are divisible. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 2 divided by 1,000 is 500. 500 times 25, I'm not doing this on a calculator outside of the screen, I promise I can do this in my head, is 12,500. That is my final answer.